If you have two shoes, please sell one and buy a sword. If you have two trousers, please sell one and buy a sword. Because now it is time for revolution. And this revolution is no longer on streets. This revolution is not about burning cars. This revolution is in the mind. It is about building our own cars, selling them to make our own money. Peace and love, freedom and decolonization to all African people, those abroad, those at home, and those in the future. My name is Kabbalah. I'm happy to meet up with you again in 2024 to discuss about matters important and relevant to our situation and to our liberation and emancipation as African people. I'm from the ACUP, the African Continental Unity Party. As you know it already, ACUP is the emerging force by people's initiative in Africa to change things. Because for a long time, we relied on the solution of the elites, which has not resolved many of our problems. Then it is time now for the masses solution to be applied, because that we believe will solve our problems. As one can say that the only institution that will speak for your interest is that institution that you have participated in building. Now we are, as African masses, participating now in the building of something that will be substantial to our condition and something that will be speaking for us as African masses. So once again, I welcome you to our first recorded session of this year 2024. Now today I just have a short message of encouragement to all of us as African people. Traditionally, we always wish to one another a good year, a happy year, a great year. Now, as revolutionaries, we don't want to wish you, we don't want to tell you to have a good year. We want to tell you to have a great year. But what we tell you rather is to becoming great in this year, is to become happy in this year. Instead of you having a good year, we want you to become good in this year 2024. Instead of you having a great year, we want you to becoming great. You need to become great in this year 2024. Instead of telling you to have or wishing you to have a wonderful year, what we want to tell you, what we want to wish is for you to become a wonderful person in this year 2024. Now, how do you want to get that done is what we are going to discuss here. Few principles that you need to avoid, or that need to apply, or rather few things that you need to avoid so that you can at least become great, become good, and become, of course, successful in this year in any domain that you settle on. So one of the ways that you want to pursue your greatness, you want to pursue your happiness, you want to pursue really your fulfillment in this year 2024 is by finding a purpose, something that you want to live for in this year 2024. And somebody wrote something wonderful by saying that if you have never found a purpose to live for, then you need to find one to die for. And immediately once you find something that you can die for, you have definitely found something that you have to live for. So it is about finding a purpose, and eventually nobody can tell you what your purpose should be in life. Nobody can tell you what your purpose can be. Even for this year 2024, it's up to all of us. It's up to each one of us to go deep in our inner part of our existence and find what is the purpose that has brought us to life in this planet Earth, in actually the purpose that has kept us alive in this year 2024, and then begin to live by that purpose. Now, what I want to share with us quickly is things that we shouldn't be living for in this year. You see, as we say, we must live for the purpose. There are things that we should not live for, but unfortunately, things that many of us have begin to believe today or to consider as a purpose for their lives. So These are the things that we don't want to live for in this year. The first thing that comes to my mind about things that we need to avoid, to avoid confusing with our purpose in life, is to what we hear many people say, I just want to live to feel good and to feel happy. So some people believe that the purpose of life is to do everything they are doing to feel good, and that shouldn't be on the agenda for you this year, because change that we want, because we say we want you to becoming great in this year. So it means to change from the state in which you are today to gain a state of greatness. So that change sometimes does not always come with good feelings, does not always come with with the good feelings. Of course, it comes sometimes with unpleasant feelings, of course, for a better result. So change is not always something that makes people feel good when it is in the process of taking place. So if your whole agenda is to live in this year to feel good, to feel happy, you may be disappointed, because most of times feeling do not last forever. They appear and then disappear as a smoke in the wind. And if all that you are pursuing is the feeling good things, is going to be difficult for you to achieve anything great in this year 2024. So we shouldn't be living by always pursuing the feelings, feeling good, feeling happy, feeling so and so, because it's going to be difficult for us to apply the change that we want. There's no change that can come without sacrifice. There's no greatness that can come without sleepless nights, without working hard, without sacrifice of one thing or another, either your energy, your time, your skills, anything. And that kind of sacrifice, for people who always want to feel good every time, that sacrifice is not pleasing at all. That sacrifice is not tolerable. Then it's going to come to the point where when the time of sacrifice, that time of change of bad feeling comes, you will have to abandon things that you are supposed to do or things that you wanted to do, because in your mind, everything is about feeling good. You see, in this year 2024, you may find yourself forced to leave some friendships that are not profitable to you. You may be forced to really make certain decisions that will make you suffer for a moment, but for a good result. You see, so all these things are not part of feeling good agenda. So your purpose of life in the year 2024 shouldn't be about feeling good. Even though feelings are part of our lives, will come here and there, but the most important thing is we are on the journey to accomplish something substantial and something everlasting. And as in every journey, you have ups and downs, you have turns, of all directions. You have unpleasant moment on your journey. But the most important thing is to accomplish your purpose. And second thing that we shouldn't be living for in the year 2024 is to impress. In our community, we have a lifestyle now that almost, I can say, is intended to just impress other people. It's like everything that we want to do is to impress people. And I understand that, because coming out of colonialism and neo-colonialism, through which we have been dehumanized as African people, the only thing that we can do to equal or to fill the gap of what is missing in us is to impress other people that we have arrived, even though sometimes we have not yet arrived. So we shouldn't be living the purpose of our life, or the agenda of our lives in this year shouldn't be to impress anybody, because there are few things that happen when you want to impress people, and one of them is that you need to be living above your means so that you can always impress people that you want to notice you. You're gonna have to buy expensive clothes because you want to impress people. You wanna have to always do things sometimes above your meaning, or if above your means. And if you have the means, then you want to have to do things in a way that we can call extravagant, simply because you want to be noticed, you want to be looked at, you want to be eventually impressive to other people. You want them to look at you as you are different, like you are different from them, you are living a different life. And the second thing that happens when you always want to impress people is that you're going to end up lying. Of course, you're going to have to invent lies because you want to be noticed, you want to impress, because the fact that you want to impress simply means that you want to do something, or you want to become or make yourself pass or appear as someone that truly you are not. You want to be looked at as a good guy, even though in the bottom of your hearts you have so much hatred, you have so much deceit, but you want to make yourself pass as a good guy, as a trustworthy person, even though you are not trustworthy at all. If you want to impress, you want to make yourself appear as a rich person, even though your family cannot get always the things that they need to make their lives better. So in a nutshell, these are the fundamental things that we need to avoid in the year 2024. The first thing is to avoid living in order to feel good, because as I said earlier on, looking and longing always for the feelings can not help you to make certain important decisions, cannot help you to have commitment to certain tasks that needs you to commit, to sacrifice a certain amount of your time before you begin to see the results. So you're gonna have to remove out of your mind the idea that I have to live and to do everything I do to feel good. And the second thing that you need to take out of your mind is to impress people. You see, somebody said that we as a black people, we spend the money that we don't have, that we don't have enough to impress people that who do not even like us. The worst thing is to even try to impress people who don't even care about you, people who don't even know you, because you just want to be noticed. You see, so we need to think critically in this year. If we have the means, right, to buy, let's say for example, $1 million car for ourselves, right? So just to impress people, but we know that we as African community, we are poor and we don't have enough means. Why can't we cut the cost? Cut the budget in half. Buy a car that costs, let's say for example, 100 or 50,000 US dollars or 100 rands, and then the half we put it together. We find other people who have the same capacity, and we come like 100 of us, black people who have that means to buy expensive cars, and put the half of that budget in the building of our own manufacturing industry, to build our own cars in Africa, our own brands, not having things assembled here in Africa, imported from, Japan or Germany, but built from scratch right here. We have the means to do that. But because we want to impress ourselves that we have arrived, we have changed, we are no longer colonized or neo-colonized. We are different from the masses of Africans who are still languishing in poverty, because we are able today to afford ourselves expensive cars, luxury things, and all those stuff that we like to do to impress people. Then we have to go for expensive things. Sometimes we have to go even above our means to get those things. So dear Africans, it is time for change, and this change requires some important decisions. I think what is most important for us African people is to build institutions rather than to be individually impressing other people or trying to feel good at every time, because life is not about feeling good, but it's about fulfilling a divine a purpose for which we are all into existence, not by chance, whether we like it or not. Is by a certain particular design that we have to discover and to fulfill. Now, to close everything, to conclude, one of the ways we can come closer or nearer to discover our individual purpose is firstly to discover our collective purpose. Now, this is what I want to conclude with. And from our collective purpose as African people, then we individually have to engage ourselves in the discovering of our individual purpose in life. It's like I am painting a full picture of what the reality is. Then each one of us is a puzzle, need to find its own place where we can fit ourselves, so that when we put ourselves together as puzzles, then the complete picture is eventually decorated. And that's what life has to be. So now, whatever that's the purpose of a people can be as African people today, whatever our purpose has to be, but immediately our purpose is to liberate ourselves from neo-colonialism. I don't know whether you believe in God, whether you believe in Allah, whether you believe whatever that you believe in, it's all, or whatever that belief is or that religion is, it will always tell you what the Creator or what the divine expects from you as a people. But you cannot fulfill that expectation if you are not free, if you are not independent, if you are not self-determined people. And these are the things that we are lacking today as African people. Two things: we do not decide about our destiny. It has been decided since 1885 at the Berlin Conference, and it's still continuing to be decided today as African people. And number two thing that we don't have is the control of our resources as African people, to value them and to sell them for the values that we believe they have. Today is the foreigners who fix the values of our gold, our coltons, and our diamonds. So, which means we don't have controls of our resources, and we don't have controls over our destiny as African people. So this becomes then the first purpose of us as people to live for, to make sure that before this year ends, we are in the process of liberating ourselves from the neo-colonialism and liberating ourselves totally from the hegemony of the Western society. And once we are able to do that, we then can find ourselves automatically on that trajectory of fulfilling our purpose as a people, and individually we'll also find ourselves, doing something that we are supposed to do to fulfill this primary purpose of liberation and whatever that comes after that. So now the question is, you need to find your purpose in this task of liberating Africa. What are you doing? What can you do to participate in the agenda of African liberation and African emancipation? Remember what I said from the beginning. Today it is a time for the masses solution. It is a time for people's initiative to be applied. No longer the time of elite solution. No longer the time of African Union protecting themselves, defending themselves at the expenses of us African people. It is a time of us African people to form our own union and to work for the things that matter for us as African masses. So it means it is a time for the solution of the masses to be applied to the problem of Africa. And that requires that you, an individual African person, wherever you are in the diaspora, on the continent, should find something that you can do to contribute to this struggle or to this fight to fulfill our purpose of liberation first. We like to talk about development, growth, emancipation, all those things, but you cannot do them while you are in the conditions of neo-colonialism. We like to talk about technological innovation, manufacturing industries. Good, but are we free people, or are we still living under hegemony of other people? These are the important questions, and you need to find what you can do to contribute to this noble purpose of freeing ourselves. And the best thing that you want to do, if you discover what to do, the best thing that you have to do is to join an organization. To join an organization. Organize, organize, organize. Disorganized will always going to be defeated. We're always going to find ourselves in failure. But organized, we will be powerful, we'll be effective, and we'll be able to reach our goals, in shortest time. So find an organization, contribute to that organization, either with your skills, with your money, with your talents, with your voice, so that together with the people you have organized with, we are able to change Africa. If you don't have one as yet, you can join our organization ACUP, the African Continental Unity Party, where we are working to rebuild Africa as a global power base. Because the fact that we are dominated, we're living under the hegemony, it's simply because we do not have the power. So once we acquire the power, we will not be living anymore under other people's domination and other people's oppression. So join us. Let's together work for the liberation and emancipation of Africa. If you like the video, please, if you like this message, of course, please like the video, subscribe to our channel, and share it for other people to get these words of encouragement for the year 2024. If you have 2 shoes, of course, sell one and buy a sword. If you have 2 trousers, please sell one and buy a sword, because now it is time for revolution. And this revolution is not going to be on streets anymore. It's not going to be about burning cars. It is about building our own cars and selling them. Essentially, this revolution is in the mind, because if we are in charge of our mind, we'll be indeed in charge of our bodies and our own reality. Peace and love, freedom and decolonization to all African people, those at home, those abroad, and those in the future. See you next time.